Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Monday, the 18th of May, 2015, and this is episode 129, Kentucky Sheep and Fiber. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. I will talk about the festival at the end of the episode. It was super fun. Can't wait to talk about it, but I know that some people don't care, so this week was okay. No paint spilling incidents, so that's good. No major any incidents at all, so that was lovely. And Gabriel was on his best behavior at school. He did so well all week. I was so proud of him. Also, I am not ready for school to be finished in 11 days. 11 days is the last day of school. What? What is this out before June thing? That never happened when I was in school. Ever. It's fine. I don't know what I'm going to do in the summer with both of them home all the time. I'm just never going to sleep. Probably have more knitting because I'm never going to sleep. All the small things knit along is going on, and you guys are amazing. I'm only current through post 52, but I have been doing the list, and I moved things. Here is the mason jar. This is only with one sheet of paper in it. I have another full sheet, and I have to start writing things down from post 52 on. So you guys are awesome. I super enjoy looking at it, but I didn't go on Ravelry pretty much at all this weekend. I have been working away at small things. Not as many as I would like, but it'll get there. I don't have any finished objects for you this week. I'm kind of in a slump. I feel like I kind of don't want to do anything. But I do things because I feel like I should. Not like I feel obligated to knit, but like I know that I enjoy knitting, and none of my projects are bad projects. They're all fine. It's just feel general malaise for everything. So, I don't know. I think I'm just tired, and I think I'm homesick is the problem. I haven't been to Michigan in a while since, I don't know, winter time. It hasn't been that long. It's only been a handful of months, but I think I'm homesick. Anyway, works in progress. I have some. Ooh, I'm going to show you this one first. So this is what I did mostly at Kentucky Sheep and Fiber. I mentioned that I was going to be with spinners, and I was. And I brought my drop spindle. So you might not be able to tell, but this is way more full than it was last time you saw it. This is the Gourmet Stash Hufflepuffs cup, and this is what I have left of the first little, what are they called? Tribbles, maybe? What'd she call them? Doesn't say, but it's Hufflepuffs cup, Superfine Merino, Yak, Silk, and Angelina. And when I went to the festival, this was about 2.5 times the size. So I did quite a bit of spinning while I was there. And I'm spinning this super thin. It should be a 3-ply lace. Navajo plying it on itself. So can you even see it? Okay, there you go. So it's very thin, which is why it's taking a while. And I haven't plied anything. That my plying is still over here. I haven't touched that, but I did pick up my spindle, so that's exciting. Because I really want to spin, I just don't spin. I don't know why I don't spin. I'm just in this weird place right now. Allegria's mitts have some progress. I did not mark where I was last week, but I think I was only about right here. I think that's accurate. I am nearly through with the thumb gussets. So this is how long they are in my hand. And I guess I should probably ask Allegra how far up her arm I should make them, because some people like really short mitts and some people like really, really long mitts, and I would like to make her what she likes. I like medium length ones that come down here, just long enough so that when they're under a coat, wind doesn't go up, but I don't want them to go all the way up to my elbow for the most part, because then I start getting like fidgety about things touching me, like being too close around my elbow and forearm. So, Allegra, if I do not contact you and you see this, please let me know how long you would like your mitts, because I always have really good intentions of contacting people and then forget. I worked on my Delancey and I'm in the middle of a row. That's not very smart. But my progress keeper is over here, so you can see that I did all of that work. My triangles are now connected, which is how I'm in the middle of the piece, instead of working on one triangle or the other. The striping is going on. I feel that as a public service announcement about this pattern, that people should know that there is a lot going on. It's a paid for pattern. There is a lot going on, and I don't know that I think that it is completely, I don't think that this would be a beginner knitter sweater. Not because I think any of it is super advanced, but I think there is a lot that the designer, Alexa Winslow, expects people to know about sweater making and knitting in general. There's a lot of at the same time and counting of rounds. You have to, or rows rather, you have to know how many rows you've worked instead of knowing how many inches. It's not a terrible pattern, but I think it could be a little bit clearer, a little more concise. That said, I am enjoying the knitting of the sweater, and it's pretty easy once you get past the parts that I don't feel are completely straightforward. The yarn that I'm using is Knit Picks Full Circle, which, here's my tag, Knit Picks Full Circle. The blue is the denim colorway and the gray is Query. And I'm working it on a US size 9 needle. The pattern calls for a DK. I'm using a worsted. I also went up needle sizes. And hopefully the sweater fits, but if it doesn't, I will give it to someone who it does fit, because I already have one. It's over my shoulder, right over, yeah, here. Why am I second guessing myself? I was doing such a good job of pointing to the right places both times, and I second guessed myself both times. Silliness. I didn't tell you any of the specs on the yarn or needles for the mitts, so let's do that really quick. This is Maverick Yarns in the Last Summer colorway, and I'm using US size 1 2.25 millimeter needles for that. I also worked on the sample mitts that I'm knitting for Steve of Leading Men Fiber Arts. Here they are. Well, here's one. These are the Galaxy Mittens by Kate Klemp. I have made it past the thumb. It's a peasant thumb style thing. And the color work. Last week I was still in the ribbing, so as you can see, the color work for me goes much faster than the ribbing. And there were a few days this week that I didn't work on this at all because super busy. The end of the school year is crazy busy. I'm sure I knew that, but totally forgot. What else about this project? Oh, it was worked on US size 0 needles for the cuff ribbing and then up to size 1 for the mittens. The yarn is Leading Men Fiber Arts Showcase Base, which is 100% superwash merino. The gray color, yes, gray, is the Darkest Hour colorway, and then this purple is Royalty. The pattern is well written. The chart is very, very clear. I think it's $5 on Ravelry. You can also pick it up in the Leading Men Fiber Arts booth. So yeah, it's going pretty well. It's definitely not something I can take around anywhere because there is a chart that I have to follow every line for the back of the mitts. The palms is pretty straightforward and easy, but the back of the mitts I have to, sit down and focus and look at the chart to know what I'm doing. But I think the outcome will be really great. So on to my small things. I finished a barn raising square. This is number 23, and this is made out of 2 of the minis from Ellie, the drops minis. So this up to the green is 1 mini, and then this blue is the start of a second mini. And the rest of the mini, well, not the rest, but a lot of the other parts of the mini are in this one. Yes, this one. So in addition to barn raising square, I made 4 hexapuffs. That one. And then this, which I have more of the mini to make. And then these 2. And remember a couple weeks ago, I made hexapuffs, but I said one was lost. I found it. It was on the shelf in Gabriel's bedroom. It is a lovely rainbow. So I need to sew that one in quick before it is taken off by the children again. I can't blame them though. Look at that. I'm pretty sure that this is the Nothing Says Screw You Like a Rainbow colorway. Pretty sure. Because it's got that cloudy blue part in it. I'm already to new things. Crazy. So, new things. I received the Handbrake Cowl by Dan Jones from, well, it's in K. Jones' Ravelry shop, but I received it from Haley, and the Handbrake Cowl is quite inexpensive. It's maybe a couple bucks. I think it's a pound, a British English pound, and not a lot of money, and all of the proceeds from it are going to cancer research. So it's a pretty good pattern to buy to support a cause. Dan and Kay do the Bakery Bears podcast, which I've talked about before, and if you haven't checked them out, they're worth giving a try. Okay, so now on to the Sheep and Fiber Festival. So if you're not interested in that or what I'm reading, then have a good week. I'll see you next week, and I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string. But if you are staying, I'm super excited. It was a lot of fun. So I went, and I was supposed to be with a group demonstrating spinning. And I did spend a lot of time with those ladies, but they set up the spinners outside in, those like pop-up tents that don't have any walls. They're just like, they're basically meant to keep the sun off of you. Well, that's great. But they, we didn't have a sun problem. We had a torrential downpour problem. So it wasn't raining when we got there. So people were bringing their spinning wheels out, but the space was also very, very tiny. And spinning wheels and their chairs and things take up space. So that was cramped, and we were trying to figure out how we were going to set up, because there were 2 walking wheels, and then right away there were 6 smaller spinning wheels and a weaving loom, because they were going to have a weaving, they brought the guild loom so that anybody, kids, etc., could try weaving. And I think there were a couple other demo things. I don't remember. There was a lot going on. Oh, there were drop spindles, like CD style spindles, so people could try drop spindling and stuff. Unfortunately, the rain, so the tents had a huge gap in the middle. Even though they were next to each other, the water would just pool and then burst through. So people got spat on because it started raining about 10 minutes after we got there. So we got spat on and the wheels were getting wet, and that's not cool. I'm sure anybody with a wheel is like cringing right now, especially the walking wheels, because one was a modern one, but one was, well, it had an antique base. There had been the part on the front, I don't know what that's called, that holds the spindle, that had been replaced, but the base and the wheel itself were from the 1800s. So having that out in the rain is not good. So we stood around for a little while waiting to see if they could possibly move us in a barn or get us a tent with sides or something, anything. So they moved us inside, but they moved us into like a 2-foot by maybe a 3-foot by 10-foot space. So there wasn't really a lot of spinning going on. The walking wheels were just standing there looking pretty, basically, and we sat around. I mean, we took shifts sitting by the wheels to make sure that they were safe and shifts walking around the event. So that was kind of a letdown because I didn't get to spin on a spinning wheel. I was really looking forward to it, but there will be other opportunities for me to learn how to spin on a wheel, I'm sure. Oh, backtrack. So before we even got there, I was carpooling with Lorraine, and I got there, I jumped into her vehicle, leaving my phone in my own car, of course. I'm really, really bad at that. She sent me a text telling me where she was parked, and I was at a stoplight, a long stoplight. There's a long stoplight for a left turn. So I checked my phone. I usually don't touch my phone at all when I'm driving, but I was at a stoplight and I knew that I had probably 45 seconds. It's a really long stoplight. So I checked, and then I got another text from the other girl, Claire, who was riding down with her mom, but we were all meeting up before going, asking where we should meet. So I forwarded it to Claire and I set it down on my lap and then drove to the meeting spot. And then when I got up, the phone slid onto the seat and I didn't notice. So I left my phone in the car. Anyway, I got into Lorraine's car and Lorraine went to Maryland Sheep and Wool. And a couple things about that. She asked me if I wanted anything, and I said that I didn't really have anything in mind because a lot of the vendors who I was interested in were going to be at events that are coming up where I can actually see the stuff in person. So I didn't send her with a list. But I did say, but if you're by the Marigold Jen booth, Marigold Jen Hobbledehoy, and you happen to see my Cog in the Machine shawl, which is the shawl I designed with Marigold Jen yarn, if you happen to see that and you would like to take a photo, that would be fantastic. So Lorraine actually sent me a couple photos from Maryland Sheep and Wool with my shawl. How exciting is that? My shawl at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So people got to see it if they stopped by the booth, you know. They could have possibly seen it. The idea of the possibility of people seeing my design is really, really exciting, especially in Marigold Jen's yarn because it's just so gorgeous. But Lorraine also, when I sat down in the car, she said, so I picked you up something at Maryland Sheep and Wool just because. And what she got me is this lovely Batling set. It is the Batling Constellation collaboration between Hobbledehoy and Neighborhood Fiber Company. And it is hand-dyed, superwash, superfine merino wool and tussa silk 75/25. The Andromeda colorway. It is super gorgeous. It's 2 ounces. There's the tag with all the information. And I am super excited about it. I'm so excited. Like I said, I really want to spin. I just haven't been spinning. Maybe I just need to spin a little bit instead of trying to knit all the things. I don't know. I probably should still knit all the things, but also make time for spinning. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so back to the Fiber Festival. we got moved inside, and I I got settled. I took second watch of the wheels. So during first watch, I walked around the entire inside of the barn. My first stop, which I didn't make a lot of purchases, but I did get business cards for places that I would have liked to make purchases at a very, very small budget. These things, they happen. I have a very small budget because we had to get the kids glasses, and glasses are expensive. My first stop was the Unique Sheep, and I don't know which person I was talking to. I know that she introduced herself, but now I can't remember if it was Laura or Kelly. She was wearing fabulous stockings knit out of her yarn. One was knit toe up or top down. One was knit in the round, and then one was knit lengthwise with the seam up the back. Very, very cool. I liked her stockings so much. But the Unique Sheep specializes in gradient yarn sets, and they come in all weights of yarn, and they come in all sorts of colors, and also different grams of yarn. So 100 grams. I think the big one was 200, but it may have been bigger than that. It may have been like 250. But there was definitely a 100, 150, 200 setup of gradient kits. And the Unique Sheep also sells patterns from indie dyers and things like that. So it was a very cool booth. Nothing was like, I need you to go home with. There was a skein of yarn though that I was like, well, if nothing else in the event says I need to go home with you, I will come back and get the skein. That was not the skein. Also, I don't know how to say this for sure, but Gershby Fiber Arts, maybe, had really, really fun colorways, super reasonably priced, really great stitch markers. And I think the most important thing for me was that the vendor was really, really knowledgeable, really nice, very personable. I think at shows, having a presence where you talk to people is super, super important. Because I need someone to pull me in, to draw me into the booth. I mean, I'll go and look at pretty things, but if people don't talk to me, I'm less likely to buy things. Just am. Especially when I'm wearing a super fabulous sweater, because I wore my Sarah by Laura Ayler, the one that was made out of the custom dyed Modified Hamsters colorway by 716 Knit. So we actually, the woman from Gershby Fibers and we had a long conversation about how in speckle dyed yarns are and how she wishes she could figure out the magic, but she can't. She did have some really, really gorgeous things though, and I will definitely be checking out her website in the future. Another vendor is the Knitting Rose, all the way from Texas. And I walked into the booth just kind of glancing around, and she specializes in bison yarn, which she had some beautiful things. There was one skein, there's a skein of tonal bison yarn, and it was called Show Me the Money, and it was such a pretty green. It was gorgeous. But the thing that caught my eye and that I could not live without, I know because I went around, I looked at it and I was like, it's really pretty, but I don't know, I need to see all the other things at the event first, and if it's still here, then I'll come back and look at it. The thing that came home with me that I could not leave at the event because what if nobody else bought it, and then I would feel sad and neglected and like nobody wanted it. Is from Yarn Geek Fibers. It is this gorgeous, it says BFL and sparkle, but I'm not really seeing the sparkle. Do you see sparkle? I'm not that picky. I don't care. I love the color. It says that it's BFL and Firestar, but to me it looks like a BFL silk blend. See, it's got this right here that looks like a silk to me, but maybe that's what Firestar looks like. I don't know. I don't know that I've spun anything with Firestar before, so maybe that's Firestar. I just, I couldn't leave it. I couldn't leave it because look at how beautiful it is. It's the Rainbow Dashing colorway, and I love it. I don't know what it's going to be when it grows up. It's going to be spun, and it's going to be knit into something. I'm not going to just have this hand spun sit around and just be hand spun because it's too pretty. But I don't know. Maybe a cowl. Maybe a hat. Something for me. I'm actually going to keep a rainbow something for myself. I don't know what it's going to be, but I couldn't just leave it. Look at all those beautiful fun colors in it. And the vendor and I, he was the money handler, not the, I guess not the main dyer. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I do know that the lady who was in the booth was talking about, they had probably my favorite decoration of a booth. They had a bunting that said Yarn Geek Fibers. That was, each letter was done, I don't know, probably in Tarja style on a garter stitch background. I didn't inspect it, but I did like it. And there were other small buntings in their booth. It was very cute. But he complimented my sweater, and he was really interested in hearing about my indie dyer friend. So that was cool. And also, I just couldn't leave this fiber. Just in case nobody took it, because I love it so much. And let's see, was there anything else mentionable? Oh yes, so I did my first round of the place, and then I was sitting and spinning, and 2 viewers came up separately at separate times, but 2 viewers came up and said hi, so that was lovely. Thank you so much, Lisa and Judy. I can't even express how much that made my day, and I totally geeked out about it. Yeah, it was really, really exciting for me. It was nice to see you in person. Thank you again so much for coming up and visiting with me. And Judy actually took a picture of a booth, and it was the booth that the spinners were like wedged between that booth and the wall. So there is me in the photo, but it's just my elbow. She posted it on Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, I know that elbow, and the little bit of the sweater you could see on the shoulder. So thanks, Judy, for posting that, because it's the only picture that I have because I left my phone at home. Well, I left my phone in the car, which was quite a drive away. Then after my watch was up, I went outside to the outside booths, and Fluffy You was there. This is a local to me person. Independence is not very far away, totally within within driving distance. But there's an Etsy shop for her stuff, and her stuff is beautiful. But again, small budget. So I was mostly collecting business cards of things that I wanted to look at in the future. I also had a leg of lamb sandwich when I was there. I don't know if I've had lamb before. I can't say for sure. I definitely haven't made it since I moved out on my own, so not in a decade. But maybe we did when I lived at home. And I don't know, it was okay, but it wasn't great. I don't know. It was also from a truck, so sometimes truck food is really, really good, and sometimes it's just okay. I don't know if it was the truck's fault or if I just don't like lamb, but it was okay. I don't think there's anything else. We left earlier than we planned to. The festival opened at 9 and closed at 5. We were there at 8 for setup. But we didn't stay until 5 because there was nowhere for us to spin. And that's why we were planning on being there the whole day, because we were going to be demoing. But there's no place to spin, so we left at 2. Because they were like, we had already seen all the things and we couldn't spin, and sitting there for an additional 3 hours just seemed like a lot when we could do things at home, especially because Lorraine bought a fleece that was amazing. It was a crossbreed sheep. It was 50% Texel, which I don't know what that is, and then 25% something else. I want to say Polworth, but I don't know if that's correct. And then 25% something else that I had also heard of but didn't know a lot about. So the fleece was really, really cool. It was gray and brown and cream, and there was a brown that was almost pink, and there were different staple lengths of fleece. So a lot going on, and she got it for a really, really good price. So she was kind of anxious to get home and, start playing with that a little bit. So we left at 2. It would have been fun to stay longer if we had been spinning, but since we weren't spinning, it was kind of not the most fun thing ever to just sit there. I enjoy sitting around with other crafty people, but there is a limit to how long I can just sit and not do other things, especially because we were reined in and it was crowded, so I couldn't walk around too much, and I had already seen everything. So that was the Kentucky Sheep and Fiber Festival for me. I am still reading the Pillow Book of Cordelia Ken, but it is quickly coming to a close. I don't want it to end, but I am to the point in the book where I just can't put it down. I only read about 5 pages at a time, but I read 5 pages every 15 minutes or so, because I go and do something else and I'm like, okay, so what happens next? What little thing do I not remember? And the action in the book right now it's very suspenseful. But it's fun because the suspense is broken up by small sections of things that have only a little bit to do with the story as it goes. I love this book so much. And I forgot to tell you guys that I had picked up A Dragonfly in Amber, which is the second book in the Outlander series. I picked it up but I picked it up from the library, and I picked up the audiobook. So I am about a third of the way through that. It was a little weird to get into, but I'm enjoying it more now. And I definitely enjoy it as an audiobook. I don't think I would like it very much if I was just sitting down and reading it. Whereas this is all the Pillow Book of Cordelia Ken by Aidan Chambers. I think you would miss out if you were listening to it via audiobook, because there's just a lot of visual things in the book. Not a lot of pictures. There are 3 pictures, I think. But it's just the way that the story is broken up, and there's poetry, and I think poetry is fine read out, but I think that visually it can be important to know what a poem looks like, not just what the words sound like. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot to see in the book and also to read. That's all I have for you this week. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I will see you next week. Bye!